Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. A former fraternity house at the University of Vermont is now officially the UVM Alumni House. Thanks to the detailed restoration done by experienced Vermont craftsmen and women, the new Alumni House is beautiful both inside and out. The project began about 6 years ago and was financed through private donations. It is headed by the Vice President of Alumni Relations, Andrea.
I'm excited that after a decade in the planning, we've actually opened the doors to a new home here on campus for all the graduates of the University of Vermont. We want the building to be a home that you feel comfortable walking in the front door. So as you enter the front door of the Alumni House, you're going to be greeted by a UVM student ambassador who will welcome you back to campus and point you in the right direction, whether that be a meeting you're attending or a comfortable sofa to read the paper.
What has this process been like?
The university acquired the building from the Delta Psi fraternity in the mid-2000s, and since that point we've been developing plans and fundraising to make the renovation possible. The fraternity treated it pretty well, but it did require us to do a complete renovation from mechanical, electrical systems all the way from ground to ceiling, including some exterior work. We are thrilled that there are a lot of local craftsmen that put blood, sweat, and tears into this renovation process and did so with passion. That really, as you look around the house, you'll see the attention to detail is just extraordinary on the wood carvings, the stained glass windows, the light fixtures throughout the home have been completely restored by Conant Metal and Light here in Burlington. That touch of detail is really what separates this building from others.
And it is now with my great pleasure to ask you to join me in thanking once again those terrific lead donors.
When did it open officially, and what's the reaction been?
We officially opened on Thursday, September 22nd, and the reaction has been overwhelming. For folks that have been in the building prior to the renovation, they're just in awe at how far the building has come. For people that are stepping in the front door for the first time, they're just blown away by the historic fabric of the house and the uniqueness of the building that we have here on campus.
Do you have any anecdotes or stories from the opening that people shared with you?
My favorite story is we have an alum back from the class of 1938 who was 100 years old. He was getting ready to celebrate his 101st birthday. He came in the front door and said, "I'm home." And not only is it going to be a home for alumni, it's going to be a vibrant special event space. So within the historic main home itself, we have nearly a dozen spaces that can be reserved for small to larger functions, and then we've added a new special events pavilion onto the house that accommodates much larger events. The response has been tremendous. We've had neighbors actually reach out to us wanting to host family gatherings here at the house, but we've also worked with the Convention Bureau and a lot of the local event planners because it is sort of a unique facility here in the Hill section in Burlington. The building itself is on the National Registry of Historic Places, so we want to make sure that we're preserving the historic character of the building. We've worked with a firm called Andrea Architects out of Boston, Massachusetts to really look at the footprint of the building and how do we restore that, what's the cost for stabilizing the building. The building has been unoccupied since the university acquired it, so we need to do a lot of work to, I think, bring it back up to habitable space, but we're really excited about working with Andrea, and they've done a lot of scenarios for us looking at the financial feasibility of the space, how appealing will the individual spaces within the building be for alums to want to come in and use it either for business meetings or things of that nature.
Well, UVM raised nearly $7 million in private donations to renovate and restore the house. A bulk of the money went to Vermonters who did the work to bring the building back to life. As the work was being done, those involved told Across the Fence about the pride they felt in being involved in this special project.
I'm the proud parent of 2 UVM grads, and they spent 4 years here as students, and now they will spend a lifetime as alumni. And this will be their focal point and their connection to the university for the rest of their lives, as it will be for every other university alum from UVM. So very high marks to the facilities design and construction part of UVM for having the foresight, and for the university itself to preserve this, not only for the university community, but for the Vermont community. And it is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me personally, because there aren't any buildings like this in Chittenden County except this one, and I was lucky enough to be a part of it. The subcontracting crews that we have amassed here for the project, all of them feel the same way, that this is very special. Their professionalism, their dedication to bringing this building back to life and knowing that it will be our collective legacy for time to come, all of those things make it very special for me. To walk in the first day and go, boy, I'm tearing this apart with my bare hands. To have the vision, and then to see that vision slowly come into focus as the roofing was repaired, as the masonry was repaired, as the windows got repaired, as we did our part in repairing the exterior woodwork, and then to have Matt come along and put the coat of paint on it, put the lipstick on the end. That is the real gratifying thing, to see that picture slowly come into focus, and it looks just like the picture I'd imagined.
This building was built with a lot of attention to detail, a lot of craftsmanship, a building designed to be around for centuries. And if it's mistreated with modern material, which they often are, they're not around for centuries. The modern materials are incompatible with the old natural, inorganic materials. This is way before any architectural standards came about and standardizing brick length or width or height or any of that stuff. This is just a processed, local, probably high sulfate sediment stone, similar to a type of limestone. Probably got right out of one of these yellow quarries somewhere around here that are all over the place. This is the way it's been done for thousands and thousands of years before the advent of Portland cement in 1874. So then we had to make this raised joint. We made brass slickers, made them by hand, and then proceeded to go about the tedious business of raking out all the joints. And this actual buttress here was actually totally cataloged, each stone dismantled, the wall dismantled and put back exactly the way it was built. So it takes a good degree of organization. I have a great crew, and we went through and did not just the stone, but all the brick, and you can't see any of the repairs on the brick or the stone. And then we cleaned the whole building, chemically cleaned the whole building to take off 100 years of atmospheric dirt, carbonized dirt and whatnot, so it looks beautiful.
When I put my hands on that piece of craftsmanship and realized that some craftsman 120 years ago made that with his or her ingenuity and imagination, and I get to bring it back to life and put my hands where he had his hands, is really meaningful to me.
It's important that these buildings are treated by people and cared for by people that actually understand how these buildings function. They function like almost like a living organism, the way they expand and contract and take in water and expel water. All the materials have to work in harmony or they bust each other apart. And you could kind of make it look like this, but it's just not this.
The new Alumni House officially opened in September. To learn more, I'm joined by Andrea van Hoven. Andrea is the Director of Sales for the Alumni House. Thanks so much for coming in. Well, now that the restoration is complete, what is the house going to be used for?
Well, the house will be a home for UVM alumni. It'll be a place that we will welcome back alumni and visitors to the campus to hopefully strengthen their connection to UVM as well as the Burlington community. And it will be used as an event venue for the Burlington community and anyone that's looking to have an event in this area.
And so what are the key features of the house that make it a unique event facility?
Well, I think the house in particular is kind of
pretty spectacular.
That is definitely our gem, and the craftsmanship that you've just learned about that went into that is making that a very unique space. But coupled with the newly constructed Vermont-inspired event pavilion with a vaulted ceiling, large wood beams, the two spaces together create an event space that it's very unique in the area.
And so based on inquiries and reservations you've received so far, is there a pattern to the types of events that are going to be happening?
It's been pretty diverse. As we said, we've been open about a month, and the response from the community has been really wonderful. We have had community fundraising events, we've had corporate retreats, board meetings, lectures, and of course celebrations for families, weddings, anniversaries. My favorite is we have a New Year's Eve 40th anniversary celebration scheduled for 2017. Yeah, that's going to be fun.
And so what do you encourage people to do if they're maybe interested in this venue? What should they do?
So what I encourage people to do is to contact me, and I can tell them more about the house. I really love to give tours of the house. They can contact me through the website, which is uvmalumnihouse.com, or they're welcome, of course, to call me by phone, which is 656-6658.
Now, the new pavilion, which is part of the Alumni House venue, is named for Jack and Shirley Silver. Tell us a little bit about the Silvers.
Yes. Well, Jack is a UVM graduate in 1964, and he and his wife Shirley are just really strong philanthropists, and they have funded the restoration of 2 historic buildings on campus, the Billings Building as well as the UVM Alumni House.
And tell me a little bit about some of the functions that you envision for this space.
Well, I think the function that I'm most excited about is to have a wedding at the Alumni House, especially a wedding that involves UVM graduates. That would just feel so right. People can have a ceremony outside on the lawn, cocktails in the main house, and then move into the pavilion for dinner and dancing.
And tell me again how people can get in touch with you if they're interested in either seeing the house or maybe booking it for an event.
Sure, they can contact me by phone at 656-6658, or they can also go to our website at uvmalumnihouse.com, and there's a little bit of information in there along with more contact information for me.
Do you have to be an alumni to rent the facility?
You do not. The facility, our goal for that facility is to have the Burlington community, Vermont community, basically anyone who'd like to have an event in the area can rent that space.
It's amazing to me that this is going to be, the homecoming for alumni. How important is that for a college or university?
I think it's very important. It's something that's been in the works at UVM for many, many years. The project itself has been over a decade in the planning. The response that we've gotten, I was over at the house on Saturday just doing a little work at my desk, and someone was walking around the building. I went outside and they're like, can I come in? And to be able to show them around the house and hear their stories and their connections to UVM was really special.
That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
That's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. We'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.